All right, Celtics fans, what a night it was in Cleveland. You could feel that energy from the opening tip, and honestly, the Celtics came out like a team that had something to prove. Everyone was talking about the spread before the game, saying Boston being only a small underdog didn't make sense, and then suddenly Donovan Mitchell's status gets all murky just before tip-off. But in the end, none of that mattered because the Celtics went out there and flat-out handled business. They dropped 125 points on the Cavs and walked away with a 20-point win. And the most encouraging part wasn't just the final score, it was how they did it. From the very first quarter, you could tell the pace was different. We've been waiting weeks to see this team actually push the tempo like they promised all offseason, and finally, they did. 40 points in the first 12 minutes. Constant movement, quick decisions, everybody touching the ball. Even though they trailed by a couple after that first frame, you could sense the energy shift. Peyton Pritchard, man, you could see he came out with that chip on his shoulder. His shot still wasn't falling the way he wanted, just 1 for 8 from deep, but he made up for it by facilitating like a true floor general. 10 assists, 10 points, and a spark that the bench really needed. That's what you want from your backup point guard. Control, pace, and hustle. But the real turning point came in that second quarter. Boston's defense finally looked like Boston's defense again. They held Cleveland to just 18 points, smothered every drive, crashed the boards, and played with that physical edge we've all been asking for. From that point on, the game tilted completely. The Celtics built a comfortable lead heading into halftime and never really let it go. Even in that notorious fourth quarter, where we've seen them lose focus before, they outscored the Cavs again, sealing a win that felt dominant from start to finish. It was one of those games where you could finally exhale and say, okay, this is what the team can look like when they lock in. Now, we got to talk about Josh Minott. The hype train might officially be leaving the station because this dude showed out. Another double-double, and not just on accident. He was everywhere. 11 points, 15 rebounds, 3 steals, and a block, all while playing with that relentless motor that's becoming his trademark. He's proving he belongs in the rotation. Every time he's on the floor, the energy picks up. You can tell his teammates trust him too. He's crashing the boards, rotating fast on defense, and even making the right reads offensively. For someone who was barely in the conversation a month ago, he's becoming impossible to ignore. And that's the beauty of this Celtics team. They're finding contributions from guys outside the usual suspects. Speaking of effort, the rebounding battle tells you everything you need to know. Boston absolutely crushed Cleveland on the glass, 53-42 overall with 18 offensive rebounds. 18. That's insane against a front court that features Jared Allen and Evan Mobley. On paper, that matchup should have been a nightmare. The Cavs' size and length usually punish teams inside, but the Celtics just wanted it more. You could see in the way they attacked every missed shot, every loose ball. It wasn't about out-muscling anyone. It was about effort, positioning, and sheer determination. That's been one of the knocks on this group early in the season. But tonight, they flipped that narrative completely. Nimi Izqueta deserves a shout-out too. 10 points, 13 rebounds. Just solid, no-nonsense minutes from the big man. He was a force on the defensive boards and gave them real presence in the paint. You can tell he's gaining confidence with every game. Then you look at Derek White, steady as ever, dropping 19 points with 5 boards, doing everything from facilitating to defending. He's the glue guy that holds everything together. And Jaylen Brown, man, say whatever you want about him, but he's been efficient and locked in to start the season. He dropped 30 points last night, filling up the box score with rebounds, assists, steals, and even a block. You can see he's taking smarter shots and really embracing that role as a leader. And let's not forget about Sam Hauser, the human flamethrower. 7 threes, all 7 of his made shots coming from deep. That's 21 points off the bench, and every one of those buckets fell like a dagger. People always say he only performs against weaker teams, but Cleveland's no slouch, and he lit them up. That kind of shooting changes the entire dynamic of a game. It stretches defenses, opens driving lanes, and gives Tatum and Brown more space to operate. When Hauser is locked in like that, Boston becomes a completely different beast. Simons added 14 points of his own off the bench, And even though his breakout against the Pelicans felt like lightning in a bottle, he's still bringing energy and aggression. Between him, Hauser, and Minot, that second unit finally looks like it has identity and purpose. For weeks, the bench has been the weak point, but this game showed they can carry stretches on their own. That's a big deal for a team that wants to compete deep into the season. You can't rely on Tatum and Brown every night. You need those role guys stepping up. This one wasn't just about numbers. It was about attitude. Boston finally played like the team we've been waiting to see. They dictated the tempo, dominated the boards, forced turnovers, and played together. Only 9 turnovers the entire game compared to Cleveland's 14, and that discipline made a massive difference. They shot better from 3, hit over 35% from beyond the arc, and finally got to the free throw line consistently. You could see the confidence growing as the game went on. No panic, no sloppy stretches, just control and execution. That's the kind of basketball that wins playoff series. Sure, Cleveland was missing some pieces, but they still had their core guys out there. Mitchell, Mobley, Allen, Hunter, and Boston handled them with authority. Mitchell, who can go nuclear on any given night, was held to just 15 points. Mobley was solid, but nobody else really got going. The Celtics just suffocated them defensively. Every rotation was crisp, every closeout was sharp. And when the Cavs tried to push, Boston had an answer every single time. That's how you know the communication and chemistry are starting to click. It's not just about individual talent. It's about trust on both ends of the floor. Now, zooming out a little, this one matters more than just another number in the standings. When you look at the schedule, road games, tough opponents, early season inconsistency, this was supposed to be one of those games you chalk up as a likely loss. Instead, the Celtics turned it into a statement. Through the first 5 games, sitting at 2-3 after facing teams like the Sixers, Knicks, and Cavs, you can live with that. Because now, it feels like they've found something. They're learning how to play through the bumps, how to adapt, and most importantly, how to fight. And you can see the foundation being built. The effort, the rebounding, the bench contribution, all signs that they're starting to buy into what Mazzulla's been preaching. The rotations are becoming clearer, roles are settling, and young guys like Minot are proving they can hang. There's still plenty to figure out, sure, but if this game is any indication, the arrow's pointing up. Looking ahead, things get interesting for the Celtics. They're sitting at 2 wins and 3 losses right now, and the schedule doesn't exactly get any easier. The next matchup is against Philadelphia, and that's going to be a real test. The Sixers are undefeated so far, playing with rhythm and confidence, and it's happening because Tyrese Maxey has been on another planet. The guy's averaging close to 40 points a night and doing it efficiently. He's pushing the pace, getting to his spots, and making defenses pay when they collapse. When you mix that with Joel Embiid finding his rhythm again, you get a dangerous team. But Boston knows that, and after the way they handled Cleveland, there's no reason to back down now. The last time these two faced off, it was close, a 1-point game that the Celtics probably should have taken. They let it slip in the final minutes, but that loss felt more about timing and chemistry than talent. This time, they're in a better groove. The ball movement looks cleaner, the defense tighter, and the bench finally giving real minutes. If they can bring the same energy they showed against the Cavs, they can absolutely hang with Philly. It's going to come down to tempo, transition defense, and staying out of foul trouble when Embiid starts his parade to the free throw line. The key will be making him uncomfortable early, forcing the Sixers to beat them from the perimeter instead of letting Embiid control the paint. After that, the Celtics get a back-to-back with Houston and then Utah, both at home. Those are the kind of games that can define a stretch like this. Houston's young, fast, and unpredictable, while Utah has quietly been playing solid basketball, especially on offense. You can't take either lightly. Boston's goal over this next 5-game stretch should be to come out with at least 3 wins. That would put them right back around .500 and keep them in a good spot before the schedule tightens again. But to do that, they'll need consistency, something that's been missing early in the season. That's what makes this Cleveland game feel so refreshing. For the first time this year, it didn't look like they were fighting themselves. Everyone understood their role, the rotations made sense, and there was a flow to their play. You could tell that the film sessions and practices are starting to pay off. Mazzulla's been tinkering with lineups, and now you're seeing the results. Even though there are still questions about how he uses the bigs, like whether we'll ever see Minot and Quetta share more minutes together, the effort from both has been undeniable. That's what you want to see in late October and early November. Signs that the system is taking shape. Jaylen Brown continues to be one of the biggest stories. He's not just scoring efficiently, he's playing with composure and purpose. The turnovers are down, the shot selection's smarter, and defensively, he's giving full effort. You can feel that leadership maturing. And when he plays like this, it sets the tone for everyone else. Derek White continues to be the steady presence, doing all the little things that don't always make the highlight reel, but absolutely win games. His balance of scoring, defending, and playmaking gives Boston flexibility. He's the kind of player every contending team needs. And then there's Hauser, who might be earning himself a bigger role if he keeps shooting like this. Having a bench sniper who can come in cold and knock down 7 threes is a luxury. That kind of spacing helps Tatum and Brown so much, especially when defenses start collapsing. If he keeps it up, you might start to see Mazzulla draw up specific sets just to get him open looks. Simons, too, deserves credit for embracing his role. He's been aggressive without forcing it, picking his spots, attacking when needed, and giving that bench some life. As for Tatum, it's been interesting watching him take a bit of back seat lately. He hasn't needed to dominate every possession, and that's a good thing. The offense looks more balanced when it isn't just Tatum isolation after isolation. He's trusting his teammates more, and it's creating better rhythm for everyone. When Tatum can play within the flow and still get his numbers, that's when Boston is at its best. It's about sustainability, and it looks like he's figuring that out early. Now, you can't talk about this stretch without mentioning the rebounding again. It might sound repetitive, but this is where games are being won and lost. The Celtics finally realize they don't need to be the biggest team. They just need to be the hungriest. When you've got guards crashing the boards and wings boxing out, it changes everything. It turns stops into transition chances. And this team is at its most dangerous when it's running. That's the identity they've been missing. If they can keep up this level of rebounding intensity, they're going to win a lot more than they lose. And the league is wide open right now. The East looks different. Philadelphia's hot. Milwaukee's starting to find its rhythm. Miami's faster than ever. And Cleveland's still figuring things out. It's a mix of old powers and young teams pushing through. Boston doesn't need to be perfect yet. They just need to stay competitive, stack some wins, and keep growing. The regular season is long, and this group has the depth to endure it. What matters most is developing that chemistry now, so when the playoffs roll around, they're clicking. But before we continue, please remember to subscribe to the channel and give the video a like. Your support helps us keep bringing you the latest news about the Boston Celtics. Feel free to share your thoughts on the news in the comments as well. The Boston Celtics shook the rumor mill yesterday with what could be the most intriguing move of the offseason. The announcement of KESSLER, a towering new presence poised to reshape the team's frontcourt. While official statements were short on specifics, sources close to the organization suggest this acquisition could signal a dramatic shift in the Celtics strategy, a bold step toward rebuilding their paint dominance and redefining their identity in the Eastern Conference. Whispers around the league hint that KESSLER, whose size and skill set have made scouts buzz for months, may be exactly what Boston has been missing since those days when rim protection and post presence defined their title runs. Some insiders even speculate that the front office has been quietly orchestrating this move for weeks, keeping negotiations under wraps to avoid alerting rival franchises. The timing of the announcement, coinciding with trade, deadline chatter, and free agent speculation, adds an extra layer of intrigue. Fans and analysts alike are already dissecting what KESSLER's arrival means for Boston's lineup. Could this mark the end of the small ball experiments that have characterized recent seasons? Or is this simply a high-stakes gamble, banking on a rookie or perhaps a late-blooming talent, becoming a cornerstone in the league? Social media is alive with speculation. Some predict KESSLER will instantly become a defensive anchor, while others warn that chemistry and adaptation could be the real challenges. What's undeniable is that the Celtics are sending a message. They're serious about the post and committed to reshaping the interior game. Conversations around the league suggest that other Eastern Conference teams are taking note, quietly reassessing their own rosters in response. Even without a full stat line or highlight reel, the mere mention of KESSLER's name is enough to stir debate, conjuring visions of alley-oops, shot blocks, and a renewed Boston identity built on height, strength, and athleticism. Whether KESSLER becomes the next big star or the latest promising experiment remains to be seen, but one thing is certain: Boston's front court will never look the same again. And as the offseason buzz continues, fans are left buzzing, imagining a Celtics team where the rim feels more guarded, the rebounds more contested, and the Garofeo finally reborn. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to keep receiving exclusive news about the Boston Celtics, please subscribe to our channel and give the video a like. We always appreciate your comments and opinions. See you in the next video.